Well, that noise was the washer behind here falling down in there. So this just got a lot more fucking interesting. Which side? Oh, over here. Okay. All right. Today is the day. The day of the do. Time to do the old doohickey. As I'm doing it, I'm going to explain to you why it is very important to do this modification if you have a KLR 650. And it's not just pertaining to the first gen, second gen, or third gen, because all three generations of the KLR 650 need the doohickey mod. Let's dig into it and I'll explain why. All right, so this is where I complain about autofocus not working and I show you guys the parts. So let's go through our parts real quick. Obviously we have our doohickey, sticker from Eagle Mike, gaskets, torsion spring, and drill bit. We have a new rotor bolt because this has like 144 foot-pounds of torque on it, so you kind of need to replace that. And then the tools to do it, to remove the rotor and to hold the rotor, you need these tools. Now, as always, I get my parts from this guy. This guy is great. If you have a KLR 650, first, second, or third gen, hit up 3D Cycle Parts for all of your KLR 650 needs. And that is not a, he didn't pay me to do this. This is just because I believe in his company. Great guy, answers every question that you have. So here's our parts, here's our instructions, and let's dig into her. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get digging into it to get this cover off. I gotta take off the skid plate. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to remove this crash bar or not. I'm hoping I can do it without removing the crash bar, and I have to take off the shift lever. So let me get these out real quick and we'll do a time lapse. And do forgive me, I haven't washed the bike since I took it off road. It's a little dusty. It'll be alright, I promise. off. So that's where the rotor holder wrench comes in. And then our sockets. So this, you kind of want to have it against the foot peg. That way it braces it for you. So you might want to try to turn it if you can. So that way it holds on the peg. And a 1/2 inch of the breaker bar helps with this because, like I said earlier, this bolt is like 144 foot-pounds of torque. So she's gonna be a little difficult to get off. Remember, bend with your knees. For your 22 by 1.5 bolt for the rotor. And this one I like to use an impact on. Helps pop it right off. And be sure to keep an eye out for the keyway. So we're halfway there. Here's our doohickey, and we still got some oil in here. It's good to maybe drain the bike of oil before you do this so you don't make such as a mess. But you know me, I don't do things the easy way all the time. So the issue with this is the spring that is back here, which you can't see because it's covered in oil. So I guess it's time for me to drain the oil out so I can show you guys that spring. There we go. Okay, so this spring down in here is the reason that we still need to change the doohickey. So once I get this cover off, I'm gonna go ahead and show you why it's important to change that spring out. So let me get everything off and then we'll go about how to fix it and why we need to fix it. Well, that noise was the washer behind here falling down in there. So this just got a lot more fucking interesting. All right, well, now I have to find a way to dig that out of my engine. So what happened there was the washer on the back side of the chain tensioner, when I pulled that out, the whole thing came out and the washer that was behind here fell down into the engine. So I'm going to try to get a magnet and fish that out. If I can't get that out, then I'm screwed. All right, well, this is either going to make or break my engine. Ah, that was a good noise. There it is. Now I just have to very carefully get this out. Thank goodness. That could have ruined my engine. Well, I wouldn't have started it, but it definitely would have made this process a lot longer. Alright, so let me go ahead and get this tensioner back on so I can show you guys why it's important with the spring. Alright, so this is the issue with the doohickey on these KLRs. Now, this spring goes on this little piece here and then to the tensioner. Over time, this is aluminum, this is steel. So over time, as that moves back and forth, it prematurely will wear on this aluminum peg, or the spring itself will fail. So that is why it is important to change your doohickey. You get a better tensioner and it fixes the spring issue. So no matter what generation KLR you have, this aluminum case with this steel spring will cause failure later on down the road. And you can already see, I'll try to get even closer up on it. So on this peg here, you can see there is already a groove wearing into this piece. This bike has less than 2,000 miles on it, and it is already starting to wear. So if someone's telling you that you don't need to change the doohickey, I'm going to tell you they're wrong, because this is the problem. And that is why all KLR 650s need to have the doohickey done, to get rid of this spring that goes in here. I mean that is a deep groove already. So get rid of the spring, put Eagle Mike's doohickey in there, and you're good to go. So the spring that comes with the Eagle Mike's kit is a way better option than the factory spring, which causes damage to the case. This is my 4th doohickey I have changed on a KLR 650. I've done 4 different bikes, and all 4 of them have had an issue with this spring. Especially, you've seen it. My 2022, at less than 2,000 miles, I have 2,300 something miles on my bike, and this spring was already rubbing into the case. So changing out the doohickey is your best option to make sure that the longevity of your bike with the timing chain tensioner is good to go. I know there was someone on the forums that had the issue with the spring when they went to change their doohickey, and I'll see if I can find that and put some pictures up here. And I believe he had a 2nd gen. So it continues on to the 3rd gen. We still have the problem. Alright, so now we got to drill the hole. So you're going to want it at the 530 mark, which is just in this corner. Down a little bit. Now this doesn't have to be completely exact where you're gonna put it, because you can be off a little bit here if you're a little bit more this way or this way. The spring is still going to do its job, but you do want it right here in that 5:30 mark. So as long as you're close, you'll be fine. So I'm gonna set this up on the drill press. That way it'll be a little bit easier. You can do it with a regular drill, but I have the drill press, so let me just set that up and we'll drill our hole. And there you have it. We have our hole drilled. Like I said, it doesn't have to be spot on, but that's where you want it. So now we get to start putting her back together. Make sure that all of our dowel pins are in the correct locations. Clean this all up, put our new gaskets on. I'm just go ahead and toss this together, and then when it comes to the important part, I will show you. All right, we went ahead and pushed our spring into our freshly drilled hole. Then we're gonna go ahead and pop on the doohickey. Slide that in there and push it forward towards the front of the bike, and then put in your tensioner with the washer. All right, now you got that on, tightened. We gotta get this spring around onto the doohickey. Just like so. And then loosen it again. That is one done doohickey. So let me pop this back together and then we'll sit down. $60 pounds first, and then we're going to go up to 144. You know, I have to lower this thing a little bit. So I got our rotor tool resting on top of the foot peg. And I'm going to tighten this to 144 foot-pounds. It's a lot, so. And I have to thank Gray Thor's Rage for the wonderful torque wrench. right, well, it's now the next day. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. So yeah, now you see why it's important to change the doohickey. Now that little groove that is on that, I'm not sure if Kawasaki put that groove there to hold the spring to keep it from moving, but I do know for a fact that, and this is the 4th bike I've done the doohickey on, that has always been an issue, is that spring. So they changed the doohickey up itself so it won't break anymore, but the spring is now the issue. So I personally think that changing it won't hurt the bike any, and it'll definitely save your engine in the long run. So anyways, thanks for watching. Check the links down in the description. As always, I'm Full Throttle Junkie. I hope you have a wonderful day. And like always, whenever you do the doohickey, turn it into a keychain. I don't know, it's kind of cool. So you can, when you sell your bike, if you sell your bike, you can just be like, yeah, it's done, it's right here. Along with the sticker, but I just think that's cool.